Hey guys, welcome back. Well, today we're finally going to be able to run the processor again. So, as I promised, I had it. This is where she's going to be stored when I'm not being used, underneath the lean-to, out of the sun, out of the weather. I'm going to try to keep her as clean as possible. So, as you can tell, I got to move my truck and a bunch of other stuff to get it set up properly. I do have my brother here today to run the skid loader to load it, because I don't know if you guys remember all the logs that I hauled a while back. I'm going to do that pile. So technically we should know how much I hauled, because the goal is to try to get all that done today. I know we might have some rain here and there, I don't know. I'll continue to run it as long as it's not downpouring. So yeah, she may get wet today, unfortunately. So if we can get that whole pile of logs that I brought home from, I don't know when that was, but it's probably got to be over a month ago. We'll get it stacked up tomorrow or so, and then we'll know how much split wood that is versus just log form. I'm guessing around 9-10, hopefully, kind of hoping full cords of wood. So yeah, so I'm gonna move a bunch of stuff, and within a few seconds for you guys, we'll be splitting wood, so stay tuned. All right, guys. Well, this is what we did. I'm not sure exactly how long we split. I think maybe 3 hours total actual splitting time. So obviously I piled it all up with the tractor. So I mean, from the wall to here, that's probably 12 feet. It's definitely 6 feet high. I know on camera it probably doesn't show that, but I'm 6 foot, and it says there is about 6 feet. So if I had to guesstimate how much is there, well, I know what it looks like when I dump 2 full cords, and I'd say this is for sure twice that. So it's probably 4 full cords. I'll know because we'll probably stack it all in the totes tomorrow or the next day. It didn't rain, so that's good. I think I gave you guys 2 different views of us splitting. We would have got more done, but for whatever reason, the skid loader yeah, stopped working. So the last time we used it, I'm pretty sure we ran it out of fuel. It wasn't out of fuel, but obviously we got a lot of grade here, so I think it sucked some air. So I had to prime it, blah, blah, blah. I got it running. And I didn't use it since then. And then today, it started just fine. Go up and down about 3-4 times. And it quit, and then we got it going again, no problem. And then, of course, it dies as he has the forks right on top of the live deck. Well, that sucks, so I had to use the tractor to pick it up, turn it. Couldn't get it restarted. Now I think the starter's fried. So anyways, I think we would have got at least another cord done. So, I mean, we missed about 2 hours of messing around, so. But all in all, I mean, that's more than I would have got with my box wedge, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. But she sure is fast. But I'd say the biggest difference is I'm not tired. One bit. I mean, obviously I got to stack all this, no big deal. I know some of you are going to say just split it into totes loosely. I don't want to do that because every tote's going to be different. At least when it's stacked, it's all the same. I like to make sure my quantities are on point when I deliver. They get the same amount every time. So anyways, that's a whole different story. But you know, the cutoffs are in here, the smaller chunks that'll be all boiler wood. I just put it all in here. I mean, there's not many cutoffs, so I mean, there's a little guy right there. But anyways, whatever. So all in all, I really like this machine. I have a long way to go as far as getting used to it and getting a little quicker at it and whatnot, but I probably used 1/4 of the bar oil today. The 8-way works, I think, perfectly. The only gripe I may have is I wish this was maybe another 2 inches lower. So I feel like when the bottom piece gets underneath this, it wants to push up, and it starts to keep raising the wedge. So that's why if you notice in the video, like I raise it up and then I push out the bottom piece, I resplit those. It doesn't happen all the time. When you get the perfect piece to go through, like if you get a 12 to 14 inch log, those are the best. Those just go right through. It's beautiful. Perfect size. I mean, the smaller ones are just as fine, but anything bigger than that, it's not a big deal. You just grab it, resplit it. So, but other than that, it's fine. I'm sure if I use the 6-way, I probably wouldn't have that issue. I mean, maybe I'll start using that. I don't know. I think down the road, I'm definitely going to start separating the size logs. I feel like that'll make a big difference. I mean, I get those really small guys, you know. Then I wish I had the 4-way in there. So I think down the road, I'm going to start separating sizes for sure. I think that would definitely speed up the process, I think. So, yeah, I mean, we did all that. I haven't even checked the fuel. I didn't even fill it up this morning. So whatever we split last time, it was just shy of a full cord, and then we only split for like 25 minutes. Of course, I can't even see in there. Just give me a second here. It's hard to say. I'd say she's probably a little bit lower than half a tank maybe. So pretty fuel efficient considering, because my other one that was only 6 gallons, I would have had to fill up twice already. So, but the fact that I'm not using my chainsaw anymore and cutting, which I miss that, but I'm not tired. I could go all day with this. I mean, it's not that loud. It's kind of fun when you turn around and see you got a monster pile of wood. So no, she's doing pretty well. Still, chain's still real sharp. Considering none of the wood that we have bringing up is dirty by any means. We got lucky on this last log truck, or well, I brought it back obviously. It was all fresh skidded. I mean, this stuff's super wet. I mean, it's it's ungodly wet, which is fine. I mean, it'll all go into the kiln. So, but no, I'm actually I'm pretty impressed. I mean, the splitting power is probably the most impressive. I mean, I had a lot of knotty pieces. It's probably hard to tell on the time lapse, but and it just cranked those through. I mean, it made some really stringy pieces. I did some elm in there, which I can't stand it. It's good wood, but real stringy, like this piece here. But it pushed it. I mean, there was one piece I'm like, it was super knotty. I'm like, there's no way it's pushing this, and it did it just fine. So no, I'm pretty happy with it so far. I mean, obviously we got it all put away, cleaned up. This is how much sawdust she's made. And it's all, I mean, it's some grass clippings in there because we raked some. But it's all nice. Still throwing some good chips, so I know it's pretty sharp still. And this is what came off of the grizzly bars, which is nice. You know, I think we already separated some of the kindling pieces. And then I put a bucket and a half of the stuff that came underneath the splitter, and then where it comes off the conveyor, and I put it on the fire pit. You probably can't see it, but we're above that pallet. It's all the real fine dirt, not dirt, but you know, the little fine particles. So, which is kind of nice. I had the tarp there. We literally just drug the tarp out, brought it right over to the bucket and poured it in there. So I kind of like how it separates it. So I couldn't imagine having like a really big processor where you couldn't touch the wood to try to rotate it, or you know, sometimes when you got a real knotty piece and you want to rotate it to do this or that, or the small pieces that when it sits inside the trough, it's kind of like wonky where you're not going to split it down the middle. At least here, when you see me sticking my hand there, I'm making sure it's hitting the middle of the wedge. So unless they had a different type of how it sits in there, you know, even like I mean, yeah, it'd be great to have a fully enclosed, I mean, I was sweating today. I mean, it was like 80 some degrees. A fully, you know, cab unit with heat and air, because obviously this is going to get the most use this winter. Yeah, it'd be great to be in the heat, right? Unless those units have a different type of trough system where it holds even the smallest piece, you know, then I'd be, you know, inclined to maybe purchase one of those. But I mean, as far as the much wood that we produce today, I mean, and that's all ready to be stacked and dried, right? So like, if you have a really big processor and you're creating big pieces that you got to resplit again. Yeah, I picked up a lot of pieces and resplit them, but I don't have to touch them again. Now I just literally stack them in the totes, dry them, or put them in the kiln and dry it and sell it. The key is to not have to touch it again and again and again, right? You might as well just, I would have just kept my box wedge, you know, and cut and do all the extra work. Well, now I'm cranking the wood. That's a lot of wood. I'm really curious to see how many totes that fills. Because I'm trying to think of what time we started splitting, and we were done by, we had to have no more than exactly probably 3 hours of splitting at most, because we messed around with the skid loader for probably an hour, the tractor, this and that. I had to stop a few times because when it comes off the conveyor, I think 3 or 4 times I had to push the pile because the wood was so high. It was all the way up to here that it wasn't coming down anymore, so I had to push it. So the only other thing I could think of down the road that I want to do with my current setup is A, have a disc cleaner with the conveyor to pile everything over here. To be honest, I've been thinking about that for a while, that if I have it set up over there like how we did today, going up to the disc cleaner to a conveyor, a big conveyor, really high, to really fill this area. I think that's down the road, that's kind of what I want. So not only that, I mean, now I'm really separating all the debris. That way everything over here is just wood, no bark that falls off. You know, I know some of it's still going to get through, but there's a lot of garbage, I'd say, that, you know, here's an example. Here's a piece of bark just sitting there where I'm pretty sure in the disc cleaner that's going to come off. You know, there's a little piece there, this, there, you know, and then instead of me splitting the cutoffs, I would just throw them into a tote, because all that stuff's going to be boiler wood anyway. So a disc cleaner, it's just, you know, it's hard to me to spend 20 G's on a disc cleaner. That's a lot of money just for that. I mean, will it make my process nicer? Sure, but I don't know. So brute force, if you're listening, I'd really like a disc cleaner, but I just 20 G's is, to me, is a lot of money. So, but anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you have any comments, let me know. Any concerns or advice for how you saw what we did today. Take a guess on what you think, how many face cords or cords of wood that is, and I will follow up in the next video and let you know how many it came out to be. It's hard to say how long we split. Like I said, if I had to guess, 2.5, 3 hours max, and that's me being pretty inefficient. So, but yeah, as always, keep earning.